Welcome back to my channel. It's Chidima Favor. It's the first time of coming across my channel. Thank you so much. We're making this mermaid skirt you're seeing up on your channel. We're going to draw pattern for that. Alright, to my returning subscribers, thank you so much and God bless you. Alright, we're going to use this African print. It's 100% cotton. To make the skirt, we are concentrating just on the mermaid skirt. We are drawing the pattern for it, okay? We are not doing the up part, just the mermaid. All right, so I'm using this African print. It's 100% cotton and this velvet material. All right, without wasting time, let's dive into the video. All right, I'm coming down to my hip measurement. It's a gown, so I'm extending my hip by 0.5, and the next line is your new line. Okay, make sure you take your client new line, and next line is the full length of the gown or the skirt you are working with. Go ahead and take your hip, your new, and the full length of the skirt or the gown you are working with. So just rule a line across all the points you've marked, exactly the way you see me doing. Okay, and after that, this is our waistline, our hip line, our new line, and full length of the gown. Like I said, I'm working on gown, but you can use this to also work on skirts. All right, from my new line, I'm coming up by 3 inches. From my new line, I'm coming up by 3 inches. You can go up by 4 inches, 3 inches is okay. All right. All right, so the other first new, which is our exact new measurement, is no longer working. That's why I canceled it. We are working with the other one. So coming to my hip, this is my hip line, right? I'm coming up by 1 inch and I'm going down by 1 inch. Just do it exactly way I'm doing it so you won't make any mistake. All right, go up by 1 inch and come down by 1 inch and rule a line across. You understand the need for this line as we go up or we continue with this tutorial. Okay, now coming down to the new line, I'm going up by half an inch and I'm coming down by half an inch. I'm going up by half an inch and I'm coming down by half an inch. Go ahead and rule a line across as you see me doing. Okay, all right, after that we'll go ahead and take the hip measurement on all the lines. So on my waistline, I'm taking my hip measurement. On my hip line, I'm taking my hip measurement. On my new line, I'm taking the hip measurement. This is just to guide everything we are doing, so pay a very good attention, especially the beginners in the class. Okay, and on the hemline, I'm also taking my hip measurement. I took my hip measurement on my waist, on the hip, on the nail, and also on the full length. And I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line across. Okay, coming to my waist, I'm going to take my waist measurement. Sorry that my camera cut off that side. So that is my waist measurement. Now I'm going to use a curve ruler to connect to the first 1 inch we came up to. The first 1 inch, not the main hip line. Did you see what I did to the first one? I didn't touch the other ones. Okay, now coming down to my new measurement. Coming down to my new measurement, 11 minus 2 inches. My hip is 11. I'm going to minus 2 inches. So I'm going to have 9, right? I'm going to have 9. So that is what I'm going to take on my new measurement. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take 9. All right, to get this mermaid, we minused 2 inches from our hip line. So I'm going to connect these to the 1 inch under my waist hip. Sorry, you can see what I pointed, so sorry about that. Did you see the way I connected it? All right, now coming down to the hemline, from the hip line I want to mark 8 inches. You can use 7, 8, 9, 10. Please don't use more than 10. If you use more than 10, it will be pushing out to the other side. So from that hem side, I'm going to mark to this half inch you see me touching, the one we came down from under knee. Okay, the half inch we stepped down from on our knee. All right, I'm going to just mark to meet the extension for the mermaid. It's an extension for the mermaid. Do you see it? Here we're going to create a curve. This place I'm touching now, we create a curve. Did you see the reason why we came down from one point, from 1/2 inch to half inch, so that we'll have a nice curve that place? You don't want it sharp, you want it standing out properly. Like I said, for your mermaid, please don't come down more than don't spread more than 10 inches. Now I'm not using that, but if you want to use that, go ahead and mark your nipple to nipple measurement and add your 1 inch, then connect it back. Okay, but for me, I'm not using it that, so I'm just going to cut it out. You see what we said? So let's sew the back. For the back part, these are another pattern paper. Okay, and this is the front pattern paper. I forgot to do this. On that sharp edge, come up by 1.5 inch. I forgot to do that. Come up by 1.5 and use a curve ruler to connect it to that hip line we drew at the hem. I'm sure you saw that, right? Just connect it to that place. Then after that, go ahead and just cut it out. Okay, all right, you can see. All right, for this back part, I've gone ahead to draw all the lines the same way we had it at our front. Okay, now coming to the hip side, the waist side, I'm marking out 1 inch. Okay, I'm just marking out 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch, I will take my waist line, my waist measurement. Sorry, I will take my waist measurement. All right, and I'm going to connect you to the first line the same way we did for the front. Like I said, on that your waistline, just mark 1 inch. From that 1 inch, take your exact measurement. Now coming to the knee, remember we used 11 minus 2 and we're going to have what, 9. Now instead of, I'm not taking the 2 inches from one side, no, I'm going to take 1 inch from this side. Okay, from this side I'll take 1 inch, from this side I'll also take 1 inch. So I'm taking 1 inch from here. So that 2 inches we minus, we're taking it from two sides. All right, so I'll still take 1 inch here. You know, for the front we used 2 inches, but it's from one part, right? But this one we are sharing it equal to the both sides. All right, so I'm going to connect it to the first line like the same way we did for the front. Okay, I hope you can see. Now for this, I'm connecting it this way. You see the way I kept my curve ruler? Please make sure to keep your curve ruler the same way. All right, to give this cloth a nice shape at the back. All right, I'll just curve it in this way. Did you see the way it is? Go ahead and do yours that way. So I'll use a straight ruler to connect from the other side of the hip to the 1 inch we came out on our waistline. Okay, did you see how it's looking? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and also work at the hem. Now remember, for the front part we stepped out by 8 inches, so go ahead and still take that 8 inches from the hip line you have drawn out, from the straight hip line we took from the waist to the hem. You take 8 inch to form your mermaid. So I'll use a ruler from the half inch we stepped down from our with new line. We'll just mark it out. Still use our curve ruler to curve it out on our new line. If you're watching up to this moment, you enjoy what you're seeing, so please go ahead and subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so I'm just covering the new area because I don't want anywhere to be sharp. Now from this place, I'm going to step up by 1.5 inch the same way we did for the front. Then I'll create a curve. All right. You can see the way I'm covering it down to the hip line, that straight hip line we had. Now on this center front area, we're going to add extra paper, pattern paper, okay, so that we can draw out the back mermaid. Now I'm going to extend this first line we had, which is our actual line for the gown. Now I'm coming down by 10 inches. If you're sewing bridal string and all of that, you can come down as much as 15, 20, depending on how much you want it to flow, depending on how much you want your gown to flow anyway. Okay, but for me, I stepped down by 10 inches. All right, so this first line is no longer working for the mermaid. For the back is the last line that is working. Okay, so this is where I added the pattern paper. So my extension is going to start from that place the pattern paper started. So for the extension, I'm using, I wanted to use 9 inches. I said 10. I ended up using about 12 inches. So you can use what is okay for you. Like I said, it all depends on you, depending on how much you want your clothes to flow. Okay, depending on how much you want the clothes to flow. So from the under nail, you remember we are going to mark a straight line, going to meet the 12 inches I extended with. All right, I hope you understand it. If you don't understand, just take a look at what I'm doing. Please subscribe to our channel. It's a new channel. Help us grow. Let's move together. All right, you're going to enjoy every bit of it. All right, thank you so much to my returning subscribers. Give this video a thumbs up if it's helpful in any way to you. Leave your comments, share. All right, subscribe. God bless you. All right, after that, you can see how it's looking, and it's sharp, right? You can see it's still sharp and pointy. We're still going to come up by 1.5 inch to eliminate the sharp edges, but here we are going to create a kind of a sweet curve. It cannot be straight like this, so you can see the one placing my ruler here. You just have to be creative on how you want the down part to be, how curvy you want it to be. So here I'm just trying to place my ruler, playing around with it on how will be better for the flow, for the down flow. Okay, here is just what you have to do. You have to play around it, looking for a better way to curve everything to look beautiful. All right, you want it to look very beautiful. So you can see the way I placed my ruler, and I'm turning it to another side just to beautify the down part of the clothes. You don't want it just straight. You want it to have at least a little vibes at the down flow. So that is exactly what I'm doing here. So it all depends on you, on how you want the down part to look like. So I'm just here playing around with it, trying to curve everything in. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing and nothing more. So now you see that 1 inch we stepped up with. I'm going to curve it into the flow. Okay, I'll just go ahead and curve it into the flow. I hope you're seeing. All right, so that's exactly what you're doing. Just play around with your curve ruler, trying to connect it. You can use your free hand if you don't have a curve ruler. You just have to play around it to make it look beautiful. All right, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe please. It's a way of encouraging me to do more videos. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate your effort. My returning subscribers, those that have been watching my video and you've not been subscribing, you're not being fair to us, please do subscribe. Okay, it's totally free. All right, so after that you can see how it's looking. I like what I have. If you don't like yours, you can go ahead and manipulate it the more just to get the curves. I just went ahead to cut it. After cutting it, you can see how it's looking, right? You can see how it's looking. You can see how the curves, the new areas are looking. It's not sharp, it's not straight. You just see how it is, right? So we still have something to do at the front. You noticed on the clothes we are making, it has a velvet material by the side. So let's work on the front. Okay, haven't opened the front. One of the problems I challenges I encountered in making this is the waist of the clothes was not seen properly. So from my hip I stepped out by 3 inches, and from my knee I stepped out by 4 inches. Okay, this is the crease line. All right, I used it as a yardage to take the measurements. Like I said, the waist of this clothes was not seen, so I don't know if the velvet started from the waist or from somewhere before the waist. So here I was just playing around, trying to get something that will look nice. Okay, that will look nice and still come out fine for my clients. All right, so that was what I kept doing, trying to play around to get a better curve that will be fit the style I want to create. Okay, because the waist of the clothes was not seen. So what I did first was from my waist I stepped out by my nipple to nipple measurement, then I connected to the hip, the 3 inch I stepped out from the crease line for the hip, right? I connected it. You can see the way I'm struggling with it. I connected it. All right, then it was sharp. I had to use a curved area to just smoothen that out. So then the line, the 4 inches I came down with, I took it to the hem. All right, that's from my knee. I took just a straight line to my hem. Okay, but for the waist I was not just okay with it, I was still playing around with it. So at a point I decided to come down from the middle point. All right, I came down by 5 inches. Okay, from my waistline I just came down from to 5 inches. From that 5 inches I connected it to the 3 inches I came down with the from the hip. Okay, so don't be discouraged because of the way the how rough it is. I'm not faking anything here. I just want to play around with it and make sure I get what I wanted. So after coming down by 1 5 inches, I curved it into maybe the about 3 inches from the waist. All right, so I just had to cut it like that. I was satisfied with the curve I have. So you can see from the middle point I came down by 5 inch and used my curve ruler to just curve it into the other side of the cloth. You see the way I cut it? That was the way I just marked it out, because at the end of the day I felt okay, this is more beautiful, so let me make use of that. Okay, that was just it. So after this I went ahead to cut it, every of them on my fabric. You can see the back part. Okay, for this mermaid skirt, somebody will be asking, how many yards did you end up using? I end up using 3 yards. Okay, remember that the front was used by, I used the velvet material and Ankara fabric, so that's why I didn't use up to 4 yards. But if you have 4 yards you can go with this. So this is the front part and this is the velvet material. Okay, this is the back, this is the front. Okay, thank you so much to my returning subscribers. You are amazing. God bless you. All your efforts are seen. I'm going to see you in our next video. Bye.